Welcome back to State of the Association. I'm your host, Nash Roberts. We're going to talk about some college football today, the Alabama-Georgia game, and the Oklahoma-Auburn game. Thank you for tuning in. This is State of the Association. At the time, number 4 Alabama versus number 2 Georgia. This is a very highly anticipated game, and it absolutely lived up to it. Alabama got off to a huge start early, and eventually Georgia kind of came back, and they made it a really close game, but Alabama came out on top in the end. And for so long under Nick Saban, Alabama, they were the undisputed top dogs. And there was no doubt about that. And over the past couple of years, it's kind of been Georgia. They've taken that throne. They've won back-to-back national championships. So this was a huge game. And Alabama is finally back on top now. They're number 1 in the new AP poll coming out for Week 6. And they absolutely deserve it. Their wide receiver, Ryan Williams, is only 17 years old. This is a guy that, still at the age where he could be in high school, was cooking that Georgia defense. So that's great to see. He's going to be a great prospect in the coming years, and I'm very excited to see his growth and development over the coming years for the Crimson Tide. And Jalen Milroe, he's looked great this season. As a prospect, he had all the physical abilities in the world to be a great quarterback, and he's living up to that now, especially as a junior. Last year, he had 23 touchdowns. I think he's going to do even more this year. He's got 10 right now. Jalen Milroe looks great. I could very well see him go for the draft. I don't know what his intentions are, but he looks like one of the better quarterbacks in the entire nation right now. So shout out to the Alabama Crimson Tide. They're once again on top. It's a familiar position, but a position they have not held over the previous couple of years. Now for the Oklahoma Sooners, they were not blowing out Auburn at any point. It was a close game by the end, but not in the same way that Alabama and Georgia was. And this team, they've got a new quarterback now, Michael Hawkins Jr. His dad played for Stoops, so there's a nice little family legacy there over for the Sooners. And for Michael Hawkins Jr., this was his first career start as a true freshman for the University of Oklahoma. So to get a win in the SEC under your belt, that's great. And when he came in last week against Tennessee, after Jackson Arnold got benched, he looked really good. And I don't recall the point differential, but I think Oklahoma might have actually outscored Tennessee while Hawkins was in there. In any case, Hawkins is perfect for what Oklahoma needs right now. You can argue that Jackson has more potential. He was a 5-star prospect, whatever it might be. But the way that this team is currently built, Michael Hawkins is perfect for that because he's not afraid of anything. He will dive into that end zone for the 2-point conversion. He did it last week as well against Tennessee, trying to dive for a touchdown. Michael Hawkins is fearless. Michael Hawkins is able to evade, get out of that pocket, and run for big yardage. And, if a read doesn't open up, that's fine. He is able to create so much offense on his own. And this Oklahoma team, their top 5 wide receivers are all injured. They have a great receiving core when they're all healthy, but none of them are right now. And their O-line has also not looked very good in the slightest. So for what this team needs right now, Michael Hawkins Jr. is great, but that's kind of what I want to focus on. That's for what this team needs right now. Because I think Jackson Arnold kind of needs to change the scenery because, Hawkins, if he continues to play like he's playing right now, he's got that job locked down. For the next couple of years even, because you've got to wait 3 years before you can go off to the draft. Hawkins is going to be an Oklahoma Sooners quarterback for years to say, hey, if you want to get on the pod, hit me up, Michael Hawkins, because I will be going to Norman in a couple of years. That's where I intend on going to college. I'm a junior right now. And, even before that, I'd be down right now. But in all seriousness, this is his team for years to come. From everything we've seen right now, there's no reason for it not to be. And it's a shame because I think with a fully healthy roster, obviously Michael Hawkins Jr. would do even better with a fully healthy roster, but I don't think that Jackson Arnold would have got benched in the first place if OU was fully healthy and living up to what they should be capable of, whether it's the skill players or their O-linemen. Because, I mentioned they had their top 5 wide receivers out, and Jackson Arnold, you can only judge him based off of what he did with the tools around him, because he was disappointing, but he also didn't have those wide receivers, and the O-line was looking real bad. So Hawkins has done more, yes, but I think Jackson Arnold does deserve another chance somewhere. But for the Oklahoma Sooners, you've just got to focus on getting that getting a better O-line. That should be the next recruiting class. That should be your focus. The transfer portal, do whatever you got to do because you have your guy at the quarterback position and you can't have him get injured. And, you just got to give your wide receivers time to rehab. And this Sooners unit is going to be really good for years to come. Their defense is great right now, and that's what's keeping them in games. But I think their offense, once it all clicks, once they get everything moving together, their offense is going to be really good as well. The Oklahoma Sooners are in the SEC, and they are serious. I didn't think I was going to be talking about it. I thought this was just going to be a college football-focused episode. But I just saw this in my Instagram feed, is that Jayden Daniels has a completion percentage of 82.1% for the first 4 games of the NFL season, and that is the highest ever for a rookie. That might not even be for a rookie. That might actually just be the highest overall. I'm just looking at it from what I'm seeing from JPA football. And he's had a great start to the year. He's been really safe with the ball, and that's something you don't see from a lot of rookie quarterbacks coming in. They're a little bit more careless. Caleb Williams has thrown a good amount of picks to start off. Bo Nix hasn't been great. Bo Nix, at halftime today, he had like 7 completions for -7 yards. But Jayden Daniels, he looks really polished. And he's been great for the Washington Commanders. They're off to a 3-1 start. I believe they're at the top of their division right now because Philly's 2-2, and Dallas hasn't got off to a great start either. So the Commanders are doing great, and it's all thanks to Jayden Daniels. And apparently they also had Daniels over Caleb Williams in their draft board. So it's worked out great for them. This kid has got a great, great future. And I'm excited to see what the Commanders are going to do, not just this season, but 5 seasons down the line, 10 down the line. They have got their franchise quarterback. Jayden Daniels is the answer, and it's going to be great to see. It's great for the league. It's great for Washington. That is all for today's episode of State of the Association. Thank you for tuning in. As always, I'm your host, Nash Roberts.